Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Starfighter. And today we have another Star Wars Unlimited deck profile. This deck features Grand Admiral Thrawn and Energy Conversion Lab. Thrawn's ability is you're able to use a when defeated ability twice, and Energy Conversion Lab's ability is to play a unit of 6 or less and give it ambush for the phase. The most important card in this deck is Director Krennic. Director Krennic is the absolute backbone of this deck. He has shielded, and he allows your when defeated cards to come in at one less cost for the first one you play each turn. So he's a really great card. You also want to see Super Laser Technician. He's the card that builds your resources. Grand Moff Tarkin is the one that searches out your Imperial units, and almost every single card in this deck is Imperial, minus some of the events. And then we have Colonel Yularen as our healer for the base. Because we do play Energy Conversion Lab, we do have a bit of a health penalty, so keeping the base alive is very important so we don't lose the game. For our Vanguard, we do play Bunker Defender because we do want to make sure that we keep Krennic alive. And we do play a plethora of vehicles in this deck. And we do have things like TIE Fighter tokens on the board that make sure that the Sentinel ability is activated. And we want to make sure Krennic is alive, so having Bunker Defender, being able to spam on the board is just very, very good. Admiral Mahdi is great to restand any of the black attribute units when defeated, so you can technically stand up 2 with the Thrawn ability. And then we play the Victor 3 to get experience tokens to Krennic, and we play 3 of the Victor 2 Wingman to get TIE Fighter tokens on the board, just to make sure we are maintaining presence and giving targets to our pilots here to get their abilities off. In terms of space units, we want to see the Onyx Squadron Brute. This is another healer on our board. Again, playing Energy Conversion Lab, you want to stay alive. And with 2/3, it's a pretty great card. So essentially, if you crash in with the Onyx Squadron Brute, you can heal up to 4. You have the Outland TIE Vanguard. That's so that way you can buff up Krennic to help keep him alive with the experience tokens and with the shielded. And then we also have Inferno 4. Inferno 4 basically helps us set up our plays. We can look at the top cards of our deck when we're played, when we're defeated. So it's really great for that. The last tie we play is the TIE Ambush Squadron. And this card, if you play it correctly, will give you a ton of value. So the idea with the TIE Ambush Squadron is when it's played, you create a TIE token, and when it's defeated, you create a TIE token. So the idea is basically you want to play down the TIE Ambush Squadron, create the token, crash it into a unit you want to defeat, and then you use Thrawn's ability to create 2 more TIE tokens when defeated is triggered. So you basically get to have 3 bodies on board by only losing 1, and you spent 4 resources. So it seems on par, and you're basically just building up a large swarm of TIEs on your side of the board. For the other units that we have on the space side, we do have the shuttles and our Star Destroyer. Our landing shuttle is one you want to see early as well because it is your draw power. And draw power is not really something you see a lot of in Star Wars Unlimited. So having a ship like landing shuttle that can get you not only 1 card, but with Thrawn's ability to get you 2 is really good. Then the next shuttle we play is Krennic Shuttle. And the idea for Krennic Shuttle is you want to use this when Krennic loses his shield token, because when you play him, when you play the shuttle, you're allowed to move a token upgrade. So you can move the shield from the shuttle to Krennic, and so that way he keeps staying shielded, because you do need Krennic to stay alive to make basically your entire board cheap and playable and do the combos you need. And then, of course, the last space unit we have is the Chimera, which is Thrawn's flagship. And this card allows you to use a when defeated ability on another friendly unit. So you can use the draw 1, the heal 2, anything like that. So it's great for that. But when it is defeated, you can create 2 TIE Fighter tokens. So if you do have Thrawn on board, that's 4 TIE tokens. Ideally, what you're doing is every time you lose a unit, you're just producing more TIE tokens and getting more forces out there. So it's basically like the art of attrition. Basically, you're like giving up something, but you're gaining more out of it. Eventually, your opponent's going to have to face a swarm that they cannot handle on board. Some events and upgrades we do to kind of push for game. Dogfight, Apology Accepted, and Lightspeed Assault. Those are our main ones we want to use. Dogfight is a great card because you can attack with an exhausted unit. So if you went into the base and then your opponent plays another card and they're trying to save it for next turn, you can use Dogfight to throw that fighter into that one to take it out. I've done that with like Land of Shuttles, with the TIE Brute, just to disrupt your opponent, and then you get your when defeated ability off of that. Apology Accepted is great. I use it really just to defeat a TIE token and give experience tokens to Krennic to make sure he stays alive. Lightspeed Assault is awesome because you're basically ramming one ship, taking out your unit, the other unit, and then you're dealing indirect damage to your opponent. So if you're controlling the board well and they lose their one opponent, their one unit there, then they're going to have to put all that damage into their base, which could be very catastrophic for them. We also play Scramble Fighters just to create, again, an unbreakable board. This is in case like we tried to go in for an attack and we weren't very successful, or maybe we're just close to the end and we just need more guns. So for 7, just Scramble Fighters, get 8 TIE Fighter tokens out there and get ready for next turn. Or take out whatever you need to on their side. So Scramble Fighters, excellent card. And then Grim Valor is so that way we can exhaust another unit, kind of disrupt our opponent. So if they're trying to go for game, sicking Grim Valor onto a TIE Fighter token and crashing it into something is a great thing just to slow down your opponent, take away 2 of their attacks. Some sideboard or other considerations. Academy Graduate is definitely one that you can use if you're having trouble with board presence, or help or need more Sentinel protection for Krennic. If you feel like the ground game is very aggressive and you lost Krennic a lot in the first game, I would say that you play Academy Graduate just so you have a little bit more defense for Krennic. The TIE Fighter LN is a good consideration just because it's cheap. Fleet Interdictor is good because it has Sentinel, but because you want to see your other fighters go down, you really don't want to ship on there that absorbs damage. And the when defeated ability is not really all that great. Basically defeating a 3-cost space unit, it's okay, but it's just a lot of damage and stuff to go through. And Fleet Interdictor kind of like hinders the deck a little bit, but it still follows the flow of the deck. Then we have our 2 Superstar Destroyers in the Annihilator and the Executor, which are both great. Basically, Annihilator just eliminates all copies of one card in your opponent's deck, and the Executor just produces more TIE Fighter tokens. But with the Grand Admiral Thrawn ability, if you do this right, you could basically make up to 12 TIE Fighter tokens off of this. You get 3 when played, 3 on attack, and then 3 when defeated. So if you're using that when defeated twice, you're getting 3 for each, and then the extra 3 for the Thrawn ability. So having 12, being able to produce 12 tokens is great. The problem with both of them is that they are 11 cost, so you're almost never going to get them out, but they are very powerful. The next 2 really don't fit the Imperial notion, so that's why I excluded them from the deck, but they are really good. I do think that the CR90 is great because you are able to recover damage, you are able to heal very quickly, and you can actually heal up to 3 damage from a unit or base. So if you swing in with the CR90 and then it dies and you have Thrawn's ability, you're healing 10 damage from the base, which that really can mess up an opponent's like last 2 or 3 turns. So the CR90 is great for just healing your base, especially since we're playing Energy Conversion Lab. The next one is Cobb Vanth. Cobb Vanth is basically I would replace Tarkin with Vanth only because his ability is so good. Basically, you search the top 10 cards of your deck, and then you're able to put a 2-cost card into the grave or into discard, and then you can play it from your discard pile for free. So that means like you can go Cobb Vanth, find a Krennic, and then play that Krennic for free. And that's a really powerful move. I was really shock to read that ability, and it flows with this deck very well. He's just really hard to search, and you basically just got to have him in your opening hand. Essentially, if you're going to play the Cobb Vanth thing to try to find Krennic, you're doing it to get some speed out of there. You're basically the idea of mathing in the card game world is that you go from playing 3 Krennics to playing 6 because the Cobb Vanth will search out the Krennic you need to find to play. So just a quick overview of how the deck runs. You want Krennic out early game. You want to find Super Laser Technician. You want to find Landing Shuttle and Tarkin. Those are your searchers, your resource builder, and your draw power, and the center point of your deck. Mid game, you want to build a swarm, crash ships, and units with when defeated abilities, slow down your opponent, and keep Krennic alive. The end game is to have a swarm your opponent can do really nothing about, and then use your when defeated abilities to counter your opponent's strategy. So there's really no like big swinging end game push. You're just basically creating a swarm and just throwing everything you have at this at the opponent until you win. The pros of this deck is it's super cheap. Um, Without including shipping costs, it's under $15. It's easy to play and it has a great strategy and it's super aggressive. So it's great for, I think, a newer player to kind of learn how to play the game, even though there's a lot of triggers going on. So maybe if you have a newer player to Star Wars Unlimited, but not new to card games, this would be a good one. So if you got a Yu-Gi-Oh convert or a Digi convert, I would say this would be great for them. Some of the cons is that it's slow to start. There's no single strong attack. You could have a lack of board presence if you don't get the right tokens on there. And it revolves around one card, which is Krennic. So there are some weaknesses to it that are very obvious. So there's some cons to it, but I still think it's a very, very viable deck. So here's the overall look at the deck. It's a great list. I love it. I've had a lot of fun with it. It was actually the one I built out of the Jump to Lightspeed set, and I was like, wow, this is just absolutely incredible. I can't believe that like this deck even exists. There are some combos I pulled off that are just absolutely bonkers and wild. This is just a really good deck. Try it out. It's very different. I know a lot of people have been trying to do Thrawn red, but the Thrawn green blue has been really good, and it's been really awesome. And with cards like Mahdi restanding most of your deck, or having cards like Super Laser to build resources, Tarkin's still very viable. Like it's just great, and you're really playing the Imperial might of the Star Wars universe. So it's really cool to see. So I really like this deck. I'm going to continue playing with it, and I definitely think that it's one that will never really go away. I think it will always build. It will always add. It will always be around. So I think you can always add to it, and it always will be current in some way. But I don't think it'll ever be meta breaking until we get something that has an insane when defeated ability. If you like this video, go ahead and make sure you like the video. Give a comment on what changes you would make to the deck, or improvements you would make, or other sideboard options. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you stay up to date on all my content. This place crawls, and remember to always check your 6.